What is up, everybody? Welcome back. Truth and transparency. Whoa. Finally. You know, Hitler's got a new way of doing things. He's not letting us know when he's dropping shit. This is like the biggest doc drop, in my opinion, which is the notice of filing list of stipulated exhibits for motions to suppress and motion for Frank's hearing. This is it. We finally get to see who was right, who was wrong, what people were bringing to the table as far as to explain their position. Okay. This is the list of the exhibits. I've been waiting for this, like secretly waiting for this, like hardcore checking every day. Okay. Like this is what I want to see. I want to see how and what information, how did you attack to be able to say, hey, look at this shit. Like they've lied. Okay. This is everything we've been waiting to see. And I mean, in my opinion is, which is, this is the motion for Frank's hearing. These are the exhibit numbers. Let me see. I'm going to make it. I might just use Hector because it's bigger, but there you go. You guys don't need to see me. Okay. So the defendant, Brian Koberger, brought, let's see, the following exhibits forward. Oh, wait 1 second. Hold on. 1 little second here. I just have to fix something. Again, much love to the member subscribers, lurkers. Do me a favor, at some point you are going to have an opinion. Make yourself known. Thumbs up the video, thumbs on the video. No reason to not have an opinion. Okay. Now, okay, exhibit number. So the defendant's exhibit D1 is the email communications between Detective Payne, FBI agent Balance, and the Latah County Prosecutor's Office. And this was for the pleading for the defendant's memorandum in support for Frank's hearing. Like, that had everything to do with, hey, Nick, remember, he's co-located, he's there. When did you start talking to him? How was this relationship? How would you then not know? Like basically showing Payne's relationship because he wrote the affidavit. Did you go off of what Nick Balance is saying? He should have known better. All those things. So defense exhibit D1B is the email with additional PC attachment from FBI agent Nick Balance to Brett Payne. Email. So D1C is email with working draft for search warrant for AT&T from Brett Payne to FBI agent Nicholas Balance. Showing, oh my God, there was a working draft. There was an email with working draft for search warrant for AT&T from Brett Payne to FBI agent Nick Balance. So that means that, yep, he saw it and he knew what was in it and they're making it. And meanwhile, all the while knowing that Brian Koberger, his phone did not shut off at 2:47. I can't chat. It says I'm not subscribed. Oh, well, become subscriber. You can chat in 4 minutes then. Wow. I'm telling you, I was told that YouTube is like unsubbing people. So make sure that you're subscribed to your channels that you watch because YouTube went through some, I don't know, see how all of our names are all weird. Anyways, hopefully that helps there, mama. This is wild. I'm stuck on subscribers only and can't chat. Well, it should change here in a minute. Well, good. It lets you guys know that you guys need to subscribe. Okay. It's not your guys' fault. YouTube did it. So you'll be able to chat here in just 3 minutes. Okay. So, wow. They had proof that there was a working draft for search warrant for AT&T from Brett Payne to FBI agent Nick Valance. Wow. Okay, defendant's exhibit D2. It was exhibit A, which is the statement of Dustin Blaker's affidavit presented to a judge in Washington. Remember, this is where she was claiming, hey, Brett Payne, did you know that somebody else claimed your work as their own? Also, I think I would have been emphasizing, I mean, I just cannot wait to see the way that it's written up. It's like 1,000 some pages, remember? I just can't wait to see how this is written up, because how is Detective Blaker saying, if you guys remember from the affidavit, Detective Blaker, and the way that it was said for him to use the Washington one, what he provided Don Daniels is he claimed that the person got out of Dodge and went straight to Pullman. Okay, like there was none of this loop-de-loop going all the way, around. And this is really significant, especially with what I've been saying, is that Detective Blaker immediately teamed up with the Pullman Police Department. And for whatever reason, they wanted to keep that all hush-hush. Okay. And, well, clearly, when Blaker would be called to the stand, I think he was just going to answer it as is, like, it wasn't a secret. Well, then why didn't you, Ann Taylor would have to really do a good job at cross-examination to show that it was a secret. But this was interesting. So Detective Blaker, he if you're working on this, how can you have two, like, so in one of your affidavits you're saying that there was no loop-de-loop to go around and over in Blaine, and then, like, how is that possible if you went directly home and left out and went straight to Pullman? Like, it's like you're able just to claim, hey, in this affidavit, we're just going to claim that it happened this way so that we can get the search warrant. In this way, in this affidavit, we're going to claim that it happened this way. Yeah, Heather. I mean, right? I'm just like, I just feel like this is unprecedented. I've just never seen where somebody is claiming that they had basically one working document that they used to get all of their search warrants, and yet at the end, when they needed to veer off with PA and Washington, and you can just claim different things. It just, how can you actually say that under oath that you believe in that then? So you believe both things happen? Come on, man. But here's literally Hitler. Next is D3 is affidavit for search warrant to Google. This was the one on January the 3rd, 2023. So then defendant's exhibit D3B was the affidavit in support of arrest that she's using as an exhibit, for the Franks. Defendant's exhibit D3B, affidavit in support. I'm sorry, I just said that, affidavit in support of arrest. Now, defendant's exhibit D4A is the transcripts from the motion to compel, which was on 5/23/2024, and the transcripts from 5/30/2024, the motion to compel. So there was the one that's at 2:38 p.m. and 10 a.m. So these all come from, that big, she has Payne, answering questions, because it was that big motion to compel. Cyree testified on the one day. So Payne went first, and then next week it was, or Maury went first, and the next week it was Payne, the same week that Cyree went on the same day. Then the defendant used Exhibit D5, which was the cast report draft. And then defendant D6 was the actual cast report. Then the defendant used D7, which was affidavit of Tom Slavinsky. And then D7B is the affidavit of Cyree. And I have here, let me get, okay. Okay. In the defendant's motion for leave to allow witness testimony at the April 9th, 2025 hearing, remember when Judge Hippler was like, no, you're not allowed to have Slavinsky or Cyree or whoever the hell you want, right? You're not going to have these people. Well, they actually released an unsealed Ann Taylor's 7-page defendant's motion for leave to allow, so she like argued as to why these people should be able to testify. So I want to read a part of this because it goes with this. Brian Kober will support some of his motions with affidavits, but seeks leave of the court to call 2 witnesses. The 2 witnesses that Mr. Kober seeks to present are experts whose testimony will involve complex technical questions that cannot be adequately addressed by affidavit and argument. No affidavit can encompass all possible questions and areas of inquiry, given the complex and technical nature of the issues before the court. Cyree will provide testimony regarding his expertise with cell tower data and with AT&T records. His testimony encompasses Mr. Kober's motion in limine to exclude experts, rebuttal of state's motion in limine, AT&T timing advance data, alibi, and self-authentication of documents. In support of motion to exclude expert Special Agent Balance, Mr. Kober has filed a motion to exclude expert Special Agent Balance because the state did not file a proper expert disclosure. The state has since filed additional information in its rebuttal to defense experts Cyree and Tom Slavinsky. And even later, the state filed not an expert opinion, but a more full description of the areas of testimony. Mr. Kober's position is that this disclosure is late, incomplete, and inconsistent with previous disclosures. The state has relied on Special Agent Nick Balance to track the movements of Brian Kober's cellular device. The reliance has been thank you. Sorry about that. The reliance has been averred to in every affidavit for records relating to Mr. Kober, as well as the supporting of his arrest. The state claimed that Mr. Kober's phone stopped reporting to the network at 2:47 a.m. on November 13th, 2022. The state has produced records from AT&T and drive test data relating to their anticipated expert testimony, but no actual report was produced. Jesus Christ. I'm starting to believe that Brian Kober did this plea deal based on the stuff that is coming out and all these other cases around us, guys. One cannot think that all of a sudden there's this big, I'm going to plead guilty, right? Meanwhile, for 3 years, your lawyers are saying all of these things. You're, proclaiming and you're having all your lawyers do all this stuff. This gets crazy right here. So there's been no actual report was produced. Instead, the state has produced PowerPoint pages. These pages depict a lack of an analysis and a false picture. The state has conceded, contrary to their probable cause affidavits that the phone continued to report to the network for an additional 7 minutes, but claim it is of no significance. The state relies on Special Agent Balance as its expert for cell site location information. Special Agent Balance was heavily involved in the warrant process for records for Mr. Culver's phone and conducting an analysis on the same. Special Agent Balance reviewed a variety of records and did drive tests to collect data. Some maps were produced. The state has not explained how those were produced, and Special Agent Balance has not done so through police reports or expert analysis. He has produced PowerPoint depictions that lack explanation. Defense expert Cy Ray analyzed the handoffs during the 7 minutes that the state previously claimed that the phone was off, and found that the state's claims about Mr. Culver's direction of movement is false. When a phone is utilizing services of several different towers, experts triangulate the interaction between the cell towers and cell phones. They can then determine the phone's location. The state's reliance on a white Elantra, this is why I've told you guys, so here you go. This is why I've told you guys, hey, I want to see the WSU footage from the original 247 to 256 sighting of that car. Check this out. Here we finally get it. The state's reliance on a white Elantra in WSU videos is not supported by the cellular tower handoff data. Understanding what these 7 minutes of handoffs mean is best explained in testimony of expert Cy Ray. My God. Once the workings of cell phones with towers and handoffs to determine travel paths is understood, the impact of what the state has failed to disclose is better understood. Oh my God. You guys, who's the car that they tried to say was the car? The state has hidden exculpatory evidence, period. How do you just ignore? Okay, so for example, in the Adam Montgomery case, he's a piece of shit, okay? But if Homeboy wanted to have somebody testifying at his motion in limine, okay, that is what happened. Here, this is a death penalty case, right? And Ann Taylor motions, asks for leave of court to say, hey, I want to have these people testify at the motion in limine. And Hitler says, go fuck yourself. It's not happening. In rebuttal of state's motion, AT&T timing advanced data, Cy Ray has a background with AT&T records and understands records that exist and how they are distributed. He will provide testimony about AT&T timing advanced records. He will testify that timing advanced records existed through AT&T prior to June of 2023. Because remember, this was only a response to what Ashley Jennings, okay, first wrote in her motion, which was they came forward and said, hey, we want to do a motion in limine for the AT&T records. And in her original writing, she's over here saying that she's talking about that June of 2023 date, that local law enforcement couldn't even get their hands on that type of shit. It gets better. So here, like they've done forever with this case, Ashley Jennings just goes ahead and claims one thing. Then she moves the goalposts after they write this and come back and say, go and get, certificates and signings of fuck that. That has nothing to do with shit. Because how you originally obtained all of this is what matters. So, but anyways, she's saying he will testify that timing advance records existed through AT&T prior to June of 2023. He will testify about what the records are and what they show. He has personally seen these records used in other cases prior to June of 2023. In June of 2023, timing advance records were produced through GLDC for regular law enforcement. Prior to the time, the FBI had means to receive timing advance reports. Cyray will testify that timing advance records existed in Mr. Kohlberger's case. Listen to that. Cyray will testify that timing advance records exist in Mr. Kohlberger's case. Specifically, the state has produced timing advance records through the cell tower reports on over 3,800 people and individual reports for 2 of the deceased and 1 person of interest. The state has not produced these records for Mr. Kohlberger. Then, Mr. Kohlberger relies on partial corroboration for his alibi that he was driving alone west and south of Moscow on 11/13/2022 because Hitler's always maintained that, oh, well, look at Payne put that he was heading south, you know. So the partial corroboration disclosed as required is in the form of the AT&T records and mapping of the same. The specific focus is on cellular device interaction between cell towers and drive testing data during the last 7 minutes before the phone stopped reporting to the network. For the first time on March motherfucking 3rd, 2025, the state disclosed special agent balance mapped handoffs for the last 7 minutes. For the first time, March 3rd of 2025, Mr. Ray will provide testimony that mapping of those handoffs partially corroborate Mr. Kohlberger's alibi and are exculpatory. The state has listed AT&T records as part of its request for admission by certification. Mr. Ray will testify about the content of this request. So that was the big thing, because in the rebuttal of the state's motion for self-authenticating documents, Sarah's testimony was also going to show that there's no way that you can accept these. There's no way you can accept what Ashley Jennings is saying based on the self-authenticating documents, because it's not for really what they're portraying that it's for. Now that's some fucking crazy shit. Ready for this? In addition to Cy Ray, the other person that she wanted to testify was David Howell, who was the Amazon guy. And when I saw this, I about hit the floor. For the first time on March 14th, 2025, the state disclosed opinions and testimony it seeks to elicit through its experts Shane Cox and federal agent Michael Douglas related to Amazon records. Mr. Howell will testify to the significance of this late disclosure and the implications to being able to fully confront these expert opinions. You guys, they've known all of this for how long? And just in March 14th, they had deadlines that were like way before this. They're just disclosing this shit. And it's like, why do you even have deadlines? Okay, then Ann Taylor does an amazing thing, which we all thought that she didn't do. So I want to read this portion. Ann Taylor explained that, hey, listen. What is it? Oh, one second. Okay, here it is. This is a good one. Okay. Reply to state's objection to defendant's motion to compel ICR 16B7. This was material for sanctions. So this was filed in January of 2025. And this is how this was all. We didn't get to see this. This is now just being released. But this footer says, so listen to this. The state submitted exhibits S1 to its objection as an example of discovery that qualifies as an expert report. This exhibit is a list of items collected. So it's like, that's all that's on there is a list of items that is collected from one of the lab personnel that was like at the house. And here's the items that they collected from the house. That's all. If the witness associated with this list is simply a chain of custody witness, an opinion is not necessary. If the witness will testify that evidence was collected in accordance with her training, proper procedure, and lab protocols, that calls for and qualifies as her opinion. If this witness testifies that others gathered evidence in accordance with proper procedure and protocols, that also qualifies as an opinion. The lab protocols and evidence collection procedures have not been disclosed. Do you guys remember when Hitler was like, you guys aren't looking at it the right way? Like, this isn't an expert like you think. And it's like, the defense is probably like over there because now like, we didn't have this. Mathis is probably like, what the fuck are you talking about, boy? Like, they just listed, hey, I collected these items. Okay. So you're there for like, okay, what are you testifying to? That you just collected items, that you were there? And so that's what Ann Taylor, and actually Elisa's Mathis wrote this one. And she's like, they're writing it out, like they're spelling out for Hitler. We understand everything. And here, and then goes on as far as say is that the lab protocols, when I found out that hasn't even been disclosed, like what their lab protocols and the evidence collection procedures have been or are. If the state wishes to elicit her opinion regarding whether or not evidence was collected in accordance with her training and lab protocols, that is an opinion. If the state wishes to elicit any results of the tests and what they mean, that is an opinion. This is a good example of how the state's disclosures related to DNA are lacking in this case. Wow. Absolutely just mind-blowing. I want to remind everybody what also Ann Taylor said about this fucking car. When they did the motion limine number 12, the make and model of the suspect vehicle, Anne made the motion. So she says, Brian Kober, by and through his attorneys of record, and hereby move this honorable court to exclude at trial testimony by any state witness as to the make and model of the vehicle seen on the 1112 King Road surveillance footage. That's all that it was. Okay? Like, we're making sure that nobody is going to be speaking to the make and model of any vehicle off of that camera, because it has been deemed by the FBI experts themselves as not suitable to give an expert opinion. This motion is made pursuant to IRE 103, like the rules, and further based upon Mr. Kober's right under the United States Constitution, 5th, 6th, and 14th Amendment, and Article 1, Section 13 of Idaho Constitution. Pursuant to these rules, this court is required, to the extent possible, to limit a jury's exposure to inadmissible evidence. Okay? Inadmissible evidence. The state has claimed in various filings and reports that an FBI forensic examiner, Anthony Immel, identified the make and model of this vehicle seen driving in the area of 1122 King Road in the early morning hours of November 13th, 2022. The state has referred to this as suspect vehicle 1. The vehicle was not identified from surveillance footage in the area of 1122 King Road. And there's like this footer. And it says that the surveillance footage comes from a residence at 1112 King Road. It depicts the corner of King and Queen Road and to the house with the camera. From that footage, lights from the vehicle can be seen on Volenta Road, a north/south roadway next to the neighborhood. These photos that she posts in here, okay? These photos that we've all seen now are from the 1112 King Road camera. Special Agent Immel did not make a vehicle identification from this footage. Rather, as noted in emails between Mr. Immel and FBI agent, Special Agent Edward Jacobson, it is clear that the identification of the make and model of the vehicle in this video was made via a separate video taken at 1125 Ridge Road. She says there is no continuous footage linking the vehicle at the 1112 King Road footage and that from Ridge Road, which is true. Additional surveillance footage depicts vehicles, but not identifiable vehicles. Thus, labeling the cars from various bits of footage as the same vehicle is speculative. It 1000% is. We've examined now 1112 King Road camera like crazy people, right? Like crazy people. like lunatics, right? And here, we have like the world's eyes on this shit now. Mr. Culver seeks an order prohibiting, this is all he was asking for. Mr. Culver seeks an order prohibiting the state linking vehicle identification of the make and model of the vehicle in the 1112 King Road video based on identification of the car at 1125 Ridge Road and referring to the vehicles as suspect vehicle 1. Like, makes sense, right? Let me just remind you guys what Hitler did here. He told the state how to elicit the testimony and in what order to go in by bringing up an expert first. Regardless of what order they went in, Ann Taylor again is just letting Hitler know that, hey, I'm going to be objecting like crazy, but once something comes out of somebody's mouth, it's like the tube of toothpaste. It's out. The toothpaste is out of the tube. You can't put it back in. We can't unring the jury's, bell. Like, these people aren't going to get up there and say that this is like, that this car is all looping around and it's the same vehicle. And Ann Taylor's basically saying, and I shouldn't have to spend my time on cross-examination to go over all the headlights and show how you're missing vehicles. Because how's it going the same way twice without it coming back this way? Like, are you kidding me? Right? But it was just so simple. And you want to know what he said? He said, well, how do you know? Remember? How do you know? Ed Jacobson, there's nothing that says this in this email. Like, how can you claim to be so ignorant and so fucking, like, you're not dumb? Hitler isn't dumb. It says it in the email. From Ed Jacobson to Anthony Immel, Wednesday, November 23rd at 4 o'clock. 3:58 p.m. Subject, RE451 Paradise Stills. Ridge Road, and it says attachments, and it's in here. And he had the audacity to say, well, you didn't put the attachments with it. It says that it's attached. You can't have it like clipped like that if it's not the attachments. They automatically attach and put the whatever the name of the whatever you're attaching is. It's named that. And he says, got a great one, Ed Jacobson, and sends him these pictures of 1125 Ridge Road screenshot from 3:29 a.m. And then 1125 Ridge Road MP4 from 4:01 a.m. And then 1125 Ridge Road screenshot from 4:01. And then 1125 Ridge Road MP4. Are you fucking kidding me? It says it right there. And what we get is Hippler saying that, how do you get that from that? She was going to have to voir dire everybody, because she was going to ask these questions outside the presence of the jury, show then to Hippler, okay, and to say, hey, see what they told you was a lie, because this guy just came in and said, well, yeah, of course, my report's right here. I told you guys I couldn't make this, mind-blowing. So here, going back to these exhibits, let's take a look at this, which is, okay. So here they put the cast draft report, then the cast report, then it's affidavit Tom Syray. Then here we go, Officer Noonan's transcript and summary. Now you know what that is. The Officer Noonan's transcript and summary. That is outside of the house at 1122 arrival with Bethany and Dylan. She used that, okay? Then she used Detective Maury transcript and summary, and that's Maury with fucking Dylan Mortensen at the station. Then she used Detective Gooch transcript and summary. Then Defendant's Exhibit D9 was emails with vehicle identification specialist, okay, which, again, Hippler says you cannot make that determination that he made his decision on what the car's make and model was from Ridge Road. Where are you getting that information? It's right in the email. This is crazy. Then she uses affidavit in support of search warrant UPS. Boom. Remember I told you guys about this, like I'm talking 2 years ago, whenever it was, March of 2023. Excuse me, I'm eating a little bit. March of 2023, when they released and posted on the website all of those search warrants, and I went through and I was like, we need to, something's up with this UPS shit. Doesn't it, Boston? Isn't it nuts? And I said these, I could pull it up right now, but I was putting it in order. I was like, what is this? This date's wild. This date doesn't make sense. We've gone through all these reports, you guys. I haven't come through any report about anything to do with UPS. Have you guys? I know you guys haven't, because if you're at this channel, we have not. I have no idea. For all we know, it's strategy. For all I know, I'm just saying I would never, I don't care why Brian pulled it. That's not my argument here. My argument with this case is, look at all these cases we're surrounded by right now. And this is blatant lying. This is exactly why everyone's watching these cases right now that have come back up and resurfaced, like the Scott Peterson case. How many people would have ever thought he was innocent? Well, he's fucking innocent as fuck. Modesto police can suck 9 dicks at the same time, each of them. This is corruption. This is corruption. It doesn't matter. This is nuts. This is crazy. And so what? The families should have to go through this for what? To come back and be like a Holly Bobo's family, and their kid was murdered in 2011. It's 2025, and now has to go and do this. You think that that's what the family should go through? The fuck they should. No, they shouldn't. That's why the Gonsalves is winning a goddamn trial. Like, this is sick. This case is never going away. And that means the families have to be in this shit. And I just think that that's so wrong. So Payne's IM Communications. Now remember, Payne was hitting people up, and he was the one that actually did this in his report. So again, I just Payne's IM Communications. God, they're probably so good. The be on the lookout. And then we get supplemental report 52 by Brett Payne, RE test runs. Okay, so if you go and look at Moscow Police Department's, supplemental report 52, then the sealed transcript of grand jury hearing. That's back to back. Then you go to the supplemental report 152 by Officer Gunderson about the dog. So now that's interesting, right? Because so basically, remember when I want to take a look at to remind myself. What? 152? Okay, now that's crazy. Does that say 152 or does that say 158? Hold on. Gunderson. Supplemental report 152 by Officer Gunderson. Okay, now that's crazy because that is not what supplemental report 152 is. Supplemental report 152 is Detective Mowry report. Hold on one second. Yeah, supplemental report says 152 by Officer Gunderson, RE dog. Maybe that's a mistake and it's really supposed to be, I don't know. It says 152, doesn't it? Let me look again. Yeah, 152. Very boldly. Not 52. 152. The supplemental report 52 by Brett Payne. Maybe she messed up. That's got to be a typo. God damn it. No wonder fucking Anne. No wonder you guys couldn't win a goddamn hearing. Who the fuck was labeling your goddamn exhibits? I offered my work. You guys, this is a wrong number. You know how Hitler operates. He would have looked up report 152 and guess what? No, they're not talking about ISP. Gunderson doesn't work for ISP. This is Moscow Police Department. You know how Hitler operates, right? Hitler would be like, all right, I looked at 152. But thank God it was just going to be attached. Anyways, it's going to be either Rosendahl with the dog. I don't even think that Gunderson wrote up a report about the dog. It was Rosendahl. So whatever report that is, because Gunderson didn't even write up a report about the dog. Rosie did. Anyways, this is me in my. There's no way that I would have made this mistake if this was my job duty. There's no way that my table would have been fucked up like that. Screen clip from Officer Noonan's body cam video of the dog upon arrival. Now we get to know exactly what she meant by this. In my opinion, remember when somebody wrote in the reports about how the dog was, and it was the location of the dog, how the dog was behaving, things of that nature. Well, she clearly wanted to use a screen clip from Officer Noonan's body cam of the video of the dog upon arrival. And remember, this had to do with the fact that the dog the dog looked to have like no blood on it. That's allegedly supposedly. What if Ann Taylor's like, we couldn't tell? I mean, I don't know because I don't have that document yet, but I think she was going the route that the dog didn't have blood on any of its paws. And so therefore, how is that possible? It's like the dog was just put, in the room almost, and then that kind of goes with what Beth Dylan's saying is that I don't know how the police found the dog. The dog was not there, Well, the dog was on the bed at first, and then it wasn't until when Gunderson went back in. But she's not citing Gunderson's body cam, But she wants to point out the fact that the person who's talking about where the dog was when they originally entered and the condition of the dog. Because then it's Gunderson saying that the dog was then underneath the desk. The dog didn't even bark. I mean, they only black out. I mean, I guess they redact portions so we don't know if the dog barked at all because they do redact some stuff that's like audio. Anyways, interesting. Next, Ann Taylor says that she wants to use Defense Exhibit D16 being the return on warrant. Return on warrant. That's just what she's labeling it. My guess is it's the return on I don't know. It could be I don't know. I'm guessing AT&T, but AT&T records provided pursuant to search warrant. So what was provided? So AT&T records provided pursuant to search warrant. And then here it is, Cellbrite report. Now, whose is it? Oh my God. This had me. I'm like, come on. She doesn't label. Is it, whose Cellbrite is it? Whose Cellbrite is it? Damn, Ann. Coming with that shit. Just putting it out there. It's just a Cellbrite report. Cellbrite. Whose is it? Then Ann Taylor continues with Defense Exhibit 19, D19, Department of Justice Intern Policy. Okay. Then Defense Exhibit D20 was the letter from Latah County prosecuting. What is this? Who wrote this? Parasa recording. You guys, that's funny as hell. Mm-mm-mm-mm-mm. Yeah, that's funny as fuck. Anna's cracking me up right now. It's probably Jay. I'm just kidding. It's not Jay. Jay's way too good. Um. Okay, so this is what's great about this. You guys, there's letters from the Latah County Prosecuting Attorney's Office, right? Dated 6/24/2024 to Othram regarding databases searched. Bitch gonna act like she don't know. What? This was after. This was 6/24/2024 is after they put in their motion for a protective order. They put in a motion for a protective order before that date. And Taylor's going to argue, I know. Why are you asking them about what databases they search after you wrote up your fucking 50-page, protective order trying to keep us from getting the information about IGG? So she writes up, or I'm sorry, that's a whole goddamn year after that. What is the fuck? You guys, they wrote up on 6, I think it was 6, like, it was at the end of May, beginning of June of 2023, claiming to know what databases are. And then here, I thought that Othram just, that they just created the profile and made it seem like that it was the FBI going rogue and shit, right? Well, Ann Taylor must have put in a request asking, well, what databases did Othram search? Because it was probably been after date. They probably had to have stuff come back, or maybe it was just a request. So I don't know, but this is crazy. So here, then you got transcripts from the motion to compel hearing, 5/30/2024. Then you got the shoe print outside of Dylan Morton's room. Oh my God. Hitler is a fucking piece, man. Unbelievable. Unbelievable. Then you have the transcript from AV88 file, which is Mortensen's interview. Oh my God, from 12/30/2022. I wonder what Ann Taylor really wanted from that now that we've heard it all. Because I know what I'd be honing in on. Then you have the order on defendant's 4th and 5th motions to compel discovery, which is unredacted. Then defendant's Exhibit A is lab report 28. Then I think that's supposed to be D25. Then D25B, which is lab report 29. Then defendant exhibit 25C, lab report 30. Give some credit to the defense team. They had to do crazy ass shit to remember they had to condense all of this from 1,900 pages to 1,000, something like that. You guys, now knowing what we know, this print was in the threshold of Dylan's room. That means like I've said all along, there is no way in fucking hell that she was in that room or she'd be dead. Okay. That light was that light was on for days. Okay. Now all of a sudden we hear about a taser and that she was looking for a taser, didn't have batteries. Someone needs to hit up what's his name? James Patterson, and ask him how ridiculous. I want to know who his source is for the taser. Basically this footprint. I mean, how does it not support the fact that Dylan would have not have been in that room at the time of any of this? But instead, they're saying that the footprint was consistent with what Dylan said that she saw. If the shoe print belongs to the perp, he was coming out of her room. Is that right? This is crazy. I mean, it's almost as crazy as when you're listening to the Holly Bobo case right now, and you're listening. I like read it for the first time out loud today to other people, and it's just the most ridiculous thing you've ever heard. And here, come to find out, this woman, Jennifer Nichols, the prosecutor, was the ringleader, was the boss of it all, and coached and taught people what to say and how to say it and how to testify and supply them with discovery so that they could, match up the match up stuff. This guy said, I just added Zachary Adams to my day. What? Which was the footprint? I mean, I'm guessing you're going towards it. I mean, God, I would hope not. If it's walking out of it, that's even crazier. I just don't even have words. Sealed letters between Latah County Prosecuting Attorney's Office and the FBI. Remember, I think this is from the TUI. Sealed letters dated 11/28/2023 from FBI to Latah County Prosecuting Attorney. I don't know what this is. Whose last name is Skiva Bajija? Is that even Skivu Bajisu? I mean, Syray got you all day. Syray cases, messaging with pain. Then the FBI here, this has to be stuff with the vehicle, potentially the house, at his parents' house, but the lab report 1/27/2023, FBI fibers hair, no connection. Lab report on 2/28/2023, fiber, FBI fiber hair, no connection. Then biology analysis notes, photos, negative for blood. It's got to be also probably in his apartment, probably just wherever. Now, DNA on January 23rd, 2023. Curious what this exhibit is. Curious what the ISP forensic, exhibit is. Now, in response to this, the state was like, okay, we have our hello, Atlanta. Okay, we just didn't go in there blind, bitch. Okay, Ashley, what you got for me, girl? This is what I got for you, Lana. Okay, give it to me, girl. Well, the state's first exhibit is, we're going to provide the interview with Dylan Mortensen on 11/17/2022. What do you mean? That's the transcription of the Gooch interview. Just so you guys understand that. 11/17/2022 is Dylan Mortensen's interview with Gooch. So, I have no idea what this is for. Okay. Next, interview with Dylan Morrison. Now we talking. Dude, I don't even think that Ann Taylor had this. This interview with Dylan Morrison on December 1st of 2022, I believe this is a federal agent interview. So the states showing that how they made probable cause is, hey, well, it's this or it's that, or hey, and probably Ann's over here like interview with Dylan Morrison on December 1st, 2022. Well, all I'm gonna go. I believe that Dylan Morrison was a CI, and she was a CI back for the feds back when she was in Boise, because I'm gonna go back to it that Dylan was sought out because of her boyfriend's dad. Again, this interview with Dylan Morrison on December 1st of 2022 was not with anybody from the Moscow Police Department, or they just didn't make a report of it. Same with Idaho State Police. And then instead, here, we're going to have you with the feds. So, and if you listen to Dylan Morrison, she makes it seem like that she's talked to the feds. Well, when you listen to the 1230 interview, she says that she's had so many interviews she can't even remember. And Joe Lake is just like thanking her, you know. You know, when I started to question everything about like hardcore, and they should have too, as soon as Dylan says, I mean, when I woke up, I was in Bethany's room. I just remember waking up in Bethany's room. Waking up in Bethany's room. And that because she has these text messages in her phone, she's like, I mean, this had to have happened. This is proof of it happening. What? So you don't remember any of it. So whatever you're talking about is like, and so I think that somebody out, if she's passed out drunk out of it, somebody gave her, I don't know, fucking Ambien, Tylenol PM, and if she's gone blitzed and they need to use her phone to do whatever, I mean, it's just absurd. But, and then maybe she's trying to remember, oh, I don't know, like, I saw her, I ran downstairs. Maybe then she's going off of what Bethany then told her. But I don't know. I think it's crazy. This is wild. This is wild that there wasn't a Frank's hearing. I mean, their phones, these text messages, that's why the timeline, it centers around that completely 1000%. You would never be able to say what time these crimes happened if those text messages were not present in the phones. Like, that's what you're basing saying that the crime happened at this time, is because of those phones, because of the texting. And Ann Taylor is adamant that, yeah, if you want to believe that. And so Ann Taylor has a different timeline, which means that was going to be part of her trial strategy because she didn't believe that timeline. Also, I want to find out if it's true or not. Did Jack DeCore and Kaylee have a 16 or 7? Is it present on the phone? Or is it just Van Leuven being a fucking idiot? Because he's the one that interviewed Jack DeCore to say, oh, well, what's this 17-minute phone call that he's like, I don't even know what you're talking about. Could that have potentially just been Van Leuven saying that to him to see how he would react? I have to see his phone to know that. But if there is present a 16 or 17-minute phone call, that's even more so of like, how does Dylan or Bethany not recall that Kaylee was on the phone talking to him, like, but then if you go to the James Patterson book, he's over here talking about that. So I don't know. Yeah, I don't believe people should walk anybody that's involved. I think that if I was a parent, I'd want to know who that blood in that house belonged to. Because if all these friends of theirs submitted, their DNA to like exclude them, or like, hey, or if you found that it was a match and it's to somebody that like, oh my God, they're always there, or, if it was some like a Hunter Johnson or I don't know. But they said they collected all these people's DNA, right? Then whose blood is it? If they have such intimate parties and only people that they know of, like, even if it's 60 people, that's not that many people. 60 people. Turn your DNA over, okay? But out of those 60 people, if you can't get like, hey, that's not it. And it's like, well, who the fuck does this belong to that would ever have been in this house? And I think what's even more telling is if they did that little clean that they said they did the week prior, I doubt that they would have just had blood, on the railing or above the railing or under it when, they're doing this deep dive clean for the parents' weekend. How they just miss, I don't know. Did they actually test the DNA they collected? Well, my answer is no. My answer is no. But there's not too many things that this logically doesn't sit well with me. Okay, going back over here to FBI. So this is the state's objection to defendant's amended motion for Frank's hearing. So, state's objection to defendant's amended motion for Frank's hearing. Like we shouldn't be having this, or you're, whatever. But FBI Special Agent Hill report regarding video surveillance. I want to know what report that is. Is it the one that we have now? And then Exhibit S4 is screenshot from Mitch Noonan's body camera on 11/13/2022 at 12:04 and 55 seconds. Remember I told you guys about this? I was like, this is what they're trying to say and claim, that this timestamp right here, 12:04 55 seconds, that it creates a perfect still image when zoomed in that you can see the sheath. Now, I just would love to see that still image zoomed in, and I think that that's what they should release. And I think that you could do it in a way that it wouldn't, I mean, it should just be zoomed in. But that's supposedly that timestamp on Mitch Noonan's body camera shows the sheath, allegedly, supposedly. Then, now, ISP Forensic Biology Report 33 dated 5/23/2023. Well, it so happens that I have these biology reports right here. Learn these hoes biology, obviously, well. Let's see what we got. Oh, 4/33. Okay. Report 33 is the turn signal switch assembly from Brian Culver's vehicle, the shift knob and boot from Brian Culver's vehicle. Results from presumptive chemical tests for the presence of blood were negative on items 130 and 131. All items have been returned to the main laboratory evidence vault for return to the submitting agency. I declare under penalty of perjury pursuant to the law of the state of Idaho that the foregoing is true and correct. And then it's redacted. I don't know why that part should be redacted, but so that's interesting that ISP Forensic Biology Report 33 dated. So I think what they were going to argue and say is we didn't have this information until this day. So we could not provide this to you. We were not withholding anything. Okay, Anne? We just could not give you that until 5/23/2023. Like we didn't even, it wasn't even produced yet. And then what I think Ann Taylor was going to say is that kept getting pushed back in, like they kept reassigning stuff so they didn't have to turn it over. They kept reassigning. Like here, we're going to push this with this. Like it's like everything that they did. How about they were so saying that they needed prints, because we found prints. We have prints. Well, then why aren't you asking people for prints? I get, yep, you want the DNA, but you might need the prints as well because the prints are really important. Because you guys are going ham over these prints. Also, I want to know, how did they determine that the tire, like, burnout, they made the determination that that tire mark has nothing to do with this. How? Who made that? Based off of what? Based off of what? Based off of what? Moving on. Motion to suppress. This is IGG. So that was just for the Franks. Now you get into, this is the defense exhibit, which is the email between Gamut and Mooney, which is contact for FBI genealogy. What? This isn't even right. God, they're making me look good right now, this way they spell. Okay, so whoa. This is for defendant's memo in support of motion to suppress genetic information. And this would be the email between Matthew Gamut and Mooney. And it was RE to contact for FBI. Whoever, the date on this has to be important. Remember that big meeting? Tell me about that meeting. The tire mark was in a video of Xana, so it was there prior to the crime. And let me ask you guys something. Do you think that they went through all of that and figured that out? Because that's giving them a lot of credit. That's why I'm asking, how did they make that determination? And if that's what they would tell me, then that would be great, right? But I'm saying, this is the Idaho State Police. Fuck all. Going through Xana to find that. I would just love to see that in a report. Hey guys, those were there. Next, the sealed letters between Latah County Prosecuting Attorney's Office and the FBI when it comes to the IGG. And I think this just has everything to do with the fact that it's showing that Ashley Jennings and Bill Thompson were in, like, they called the shots. And these dates and everything. And what it discloses, I mean, I cannot wait to see. if they even try to suppress this, I don't think they will be able to. I mean, why? How? But then okay, motion to suppress AT&T first warrant. So the return of the warrant receipt, that's going to be the timestamp. And you're going to have Cyray testifying to that. You cannot get the drive test, do all this stuff, and be writing up the next search warrant. Like, you would have already had to have done the work, which means you've already had the fucking information. That's the big thing, is that going out and mapping this all out. When did you do it? Because the date of the return of the warrant, okay, and the receipt, then he's just typing up another one and going at it. And it's just like, when did you guys go out and use any of the information from what you got in request number 1 to then say that it's X, Y, or Z and write that to get warrant 2? Affidavit for search warrant, RE AT&T first warrant. Search warrant, AT&T first warrant dated. See? That's exactly what that's about. This is the motion to suppress the pen, trap, and trace. So return of search warrant, affidavit, receipt, and inventory in order. Reply to state's objection to defendant's motion to suppress and memoranda in report, pen, trap, and trace. That is the return of search warrant. Okay. 12/23/2022 trap and trace warrant balance. Exhibit C, AT&T form with warrant. Affidavit for search warrant and application for an order for pen, trap, and trace, or register trap and trace. And the question would be is, what was the purpose of this? Search warrant in order for a pen, register, or a trap trace device and non-disclosure order pursuant. This is the state's exhibits here. Sorry. You know, what was the purpose for it? And the date of it, it's not like you can't say that you did this to locate the person. Like, what? Now, this is the motion to suppress Pennsylvania search warrant. Search warrant for 119. Attested warrant and affidavit for warrant 12/29. Pennsylvania State Police report, initial narrative. Pennsylvania State Police report, general offense report. That's the state's exhibit. Oh, so the state's using these exhibits. Letter to Detective Payne from Pennsylvania State Police Sergeant Michael Lang. Pennsylvania State Police report. Oh, regarding custody of Brian Kober. Motion to suppress search warrant for Mr. Kober's person. It's just to show did they even have a response to that? Oh, state's exhibit. Defendant's Exhibit A, application for search warrant, motion in order to unsweel. Unsweel. You guys, who is high as a kite writing this? To unsweel the records. I'm sorry. I gotta enjoy a good laugh when I can get one. This is hilarious. You better stop unsweeling on me, you guys. For fuck's sake. You know, everybody's screwed, everybody. Redacted search warrant for residents. Oh, amended statement by Dawn Daniels. Yep, she's like, I want nothing to do with this shit. You guys are a bunch of liars. What do we got next? Motion to suppress cell phone, USB, Moscow. Okay, so they use affidavit for search warrant and search warrant dated 1/9/2023. And that's just, Maori just doesn't even know what's going on. How did you get this? I don't know. They probably gave it to me. Okay, so do you know if the FBI was in the phone prior to? Well, no, they weren't in there. Well, how do you know? Were you with the phone? I mean, he can't testify to that. Apple preservation letter. Interesting. Apple motion to suppress and memo and support Apple account federal grand jury subpoena. Wow. There we go. There's a date. Apple subpoena certification. Apple email chain. What? Dude. I have a question. Why was all of this done? Well, now, but we realize it now. Okay. So think about this. Anybody who's running an investigation and you arrest this dude, right? Why would you wait until April to go and obtain things from Apple? Because the feds did it, but the receipt and the return dates of when the feds did this shit is way before the 19th, okay? So they can't use them. We can't disclose them. So you guys are going to have to go and get this shit yourselves. And that's why it's like, why would you already go and obtain something that the feds have already obtained? And because nobody in their right mind would ever, like, hey, we're going to wait until April to have an email thread with Apple. And it was Apple account federal grand jury. So they were trying to have a federal grand jury because why? Well, because we're probably going to lose, because they were they in fear that this was all going to get tossed? And so we better figure out a way to federally indict this motherfucker, because if somebody actually, I don't know, follows the rules, this wouldn't cut it. And so is that why you're looking for another way to ding, 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 indict Brian Kober or get him on something else? I remember when Steve, because I don't think he's just understanding it. Steve's over here like, yeah, well then hold off on Kaylee and just don't charge him with her and use it federally. Remember that? Spell check your work, pretty please, says who? This is not my work. This is the best work, though. I think they were trying to make that deadline, though, because Hitler was being ridiculous. So they're just like, actually, I could see this being done by AI and totally fucking up. AI is notorious for this type of shit. Apple, affidavit for search warrant and search warrant on 8/1/2023. Like, what are you doing? Apple motion to suppress Apple account federal grand jury subpoena and search warrant dated August 1st, 2026. What? What is this? Maybe it's supposed to be 2016. 2016. You guys, this is wild. What it Apple motion to suppress a memo in support. Yeah, see, this was totally put in here by somebody dropping and dragging the boxes and then not going back and changing this. You guys see that? That's what this is. Yeah. Now it's, you see what I'm saying? Apple Apple dated 8/1/2023, including Exhibit A, Statement of Officer, and Exhibit B, receipt for iPad Pro dated 1/5/18. Oh my goodness. $2,027. Yeah. This is just not correct. What else we got here? Thumb drive containing information from Apple. Ooh, I want to see that. Motion to suppress Amazon account federal grand jury subpoenas and warrants dated April 26, 2023 and May 9th, 2023. Affidavit for search warrant dated 4/26, 2023 and amended search warrant dated 5/8, 2023. Because that's when I think, what's his name? Maury's like, oh yeah, I just fucked up the date, so I had to redo it. It's a dead giveaway when you go back and you look at Maury's motion or Maury's written word for one of the subpoenas when he's asking for, I want to say, is it it's something where he only goes, you would go all the way up until the arrest of Brian Kober, and here he stops on December like 6th. And it's like, why would you only ask for it up until December 6th? Well, because you copy, cut, and pasted what the warrant previously said from the FBI doing it back in the day. And you copy, cut, and pasted that. And guess what? That tells me when the feds actually went and got that shit, which would be you put his name in a tab on 12/5, and then wow, miraculously on 12/6, you're asking for, it's all like lining up perfectly for me. On 12/6, you're going out and getting a search warrant because that's the last day of like the calendar date that date. So when you can't ask for something that's in the future, in terms of you're trying to get this type of information. So you're with the date that you're filling this out, it goes up until that date. So I believe that there was a warrant that was sought on December 6th for stuff of Brian Kober's. And that's why when he copy, cut, and pasted Maury to his, when he should have been, because if you're trying to seek if he's trying to seek a replacement knife sheath, okay, and you're really truly not writing up this warrant because you really truly want to get this information because you really truly don't know what anything is, then you would have wrote your search warrant to say, well, we're going to search all the way up until the day he was arrested because we don't know when he could have been searching to try to buy the replacement sheath. So you would go all the way until December, 28th. Because you are writing the warrant in, let's say, August of 2023, that's how you would do it. But when you're a fucking complete piece of shit, like these fucking shit can liars, you fuck up. You fuck up because you can't even get it right. And what's mind blowing is that you think you got all eyes on you, motherfucker, and you think that you can be this just a complete slop tart. No, those would be the hoes you fuck over in Spokane. Okay, they're the slop tarts. Well, you just act like them, you think like them, and your work represents it because this is just dog shit. This is absolute dog shit, and it's beyond obvious. But hey, I mean, who would ever fill out a search warrant and you're trying to find a replacement sheath, but we're only going to go to December 6th. Why aren't we going to go all the way until he was arrested? Because you don't know when he could have. Oh, you would. Oh, I just copy, cut, and pasted what the feds wrote back in December of 2022 when they actually did it. And once that argument, I think once presented in front of the jury, I think at least one person would get it. God, I would fucking hope. Or God, you know, Idaho, I know you guys aren't smart there. I get it. I have friends that actually live there now. And I have no problem saying it, but we need to start sending you guys to school on Fridays. Do you guys know that like people in Idaho don't go to school on Fridays? I didn't know that until this case. They only go to school Monday through Thursday. They do not have school on Fridays. Well, that needs to change. So, whatever. Motion to suppress a memorandum in support of Google warrants. I guess this warrant's just a hot mess. I want to see this one. This one's a big hot mess. So we did a motion. Okay, so we did a Google warrant 1 on 1-3. Then Google warrant 2 was on 125. And then Google warrant 3 was on 224. Return for Google warrant 314. Receipt and inventory for Google warrant 3. Email between Lawrence Mowry and Google. I bet you that's great. Oh, right here. Oh, yeah, that's when she's like, how do you guys know about these email addresses? And you guys remember when Bill Thompson just like got super red? And I made it like a video, poker face. Mm-hmm. Yeah, I did. All right, so what do you guys think? That's those exhibits. There's more. But I want to know what you guys think. Just primary has no school or college too. Oh, no, like K through 12. Lots of red states because they got education. This was why I ran about federally funded education all the time. The U.S. education system is just falling apart. It seems they keep cutting. Well, girl, here in Ohio, we go to school Monday through Friday. And they barely give kids homework nowadays. I mean, do you guys remember? Didn't we like? Do you guys? I had home. Like, didn't you guys have like hella homework? Fuck, they don't even believe in homework no more. So I want to know your guys' opinions. I know we talked about it. I want to know some of your opinions about Ann Taylor was really going to hone in on these police, what were they called? The press releases. Here we go. Discovery items number 1 through 46 were the items 5 through 46. They were all of the MPD releases, press releases. What do you guys think? Lana, you sure blew through Patterson's book? Oh, I've read that a bunch. So God, I have to find my file with all of those. What do you guys think? Nancy Grace is ridiculous. Youngblood economist says, I love the US, but gotta keep options open. Girl, you ain't going nowhere. Who are you kidding? Don't you be lying to me, girl. Mama J, you're back in here, right? They just unsubscribe people. YouTube does it. How about you foul these nuts? Well, I guess Hipper is definitely fouling these nuts. Nancy Grace lost her damn shit. Do you think she was going to point out, like, for example, there was a press release on the 13th. Then there wasn't a press release at all on the 14th. There wasn't a press release on the 17th. So 14th and 17th. Then nothing on the 24th, which was Thanksgiving. Nothing on the 26th. Nothing on the 4th of December. Nothing on the 11th of December. Nothing on the 14th. Nothing on the 17th, 18th of December. Then nothing on the 21st of December. Nothing on the 23rd. Nothing on Christmas. Nothing on the 26th. Nothing on the 28th. 30th. I take that back. The 30th was the press conference notice. Then they had a press conference release. And then on 1/3/2023 was another press release. I think there's any significance with any of these days, depending on who wrote them, right? Like, why wasn't there one on the certain dates? Is there any significance there? I think it's really interesting about the 14th, because I swear there's no report of anybody anywhere. Okay, so they must have been like just briefing, maybe sitting in a room for an extended period of time. I don't know. But there is not a single report of anybody doing anything on the 14th. Isn't that weird? With the exception of the people that were at processing anything to do with the house. It's very minimal, with just a little bit of, like the Lanier and the Fry. We just walked around in neighborhood canvas on the 14th. They were just setting up their roles, Please unsweel. It would be super nice. So, but Anteater was going to be talking about these MPD press releases. Basically, where'd the information come from? Whose idea was it to put this out there? And then so it's your guys' practice to like lie. I mean, like, what I'm just trying to see how do you think that she was going to go about using it for trial strategy for her defense of Brian Kober? How do the MPD press releases? How would you use them? I was thinking about this for a long time because law enforcement people that we've talked to over the past 3 years, specifically on this topic about like, you know, that it's more just like it's politics. So like the people that are normally wanting to put stuff like this out there are people that actually don't know anything about the investigation, like your Chief Fries of the world, the people that want to hold press conferences. um, yeah, but the press conferences or the press releases were saying that people were ruled out, guys, but clearly they were not because you're saying that the hoodie guy had nothing to do with stuff on what day. You're saying that nobody that was at the house when 911 was called had anything to do with anything. And we're over here like, this is what's weird. We had no idea who was at the house, okay? When 911 was called. We had no idea who. So why the fuck even make that statement? How does that help an Emily of the world? And here, if you think about it, what it actually was for Mr. Gonsalves. Because according to Emily's mom in her brain, it's like he knew who was there at the house when 911 was called. So can you release this information so that he stops the inquiring about like why are you you know, ruling these people out? What is this person's alibi? And it was specific to a girl. And so you're left with either Bethany, Dylan, Ava Woods, Josie, or Emily. Dylan, yeah. Maisie, but that's not going to be her. So, in my opinion, Steve Gonsalves was weary of somebody that was at that house when 911 was called. And so you're left with Bethany, Dylan, Emily, Josie, Ava Wood. She wasn't there until after, technically, but who am I? Oh, Jenna McClure. Fucking can't forget Jenna McClure. So, who do we think Steve was talking about? Now, according to Emily's mom, I think she really thought it was Emily because they call up to Chief Fry or the school and say, can you do anything about this? And so I wouldn't think that Emily's mom would be calling on behalf of Bethany, Dylan, or other people. But the people that are supposedly these trolls, internet trolls, which is interesting, we had no idea who the fuck was at that home. I had no idea who was at that home when 911 was called. None. Not like I only knew of rumors that Hunter and not the brother of Ethan was the 911 caller. That's all I had. And it was, it was a source of a source of a source type of thing. Huh? The hip hop ice cream truck. So let's take a look at an interview one more time. And then I'm going to call it quits. I think it was the interview with Brian Enton.
hunt for answers for them. Moscow deserves answers. The students of the university deserve answers. These 4 young innocent victims deserve answers, and so do their families. So let's start there. Joining me now on set, the parents of Kaylee Gonzalez, Christy and Steve Gonzalez. Thank y'all so much for being with me. You guys have been so transparent and strong for the public. Christy, you called the person that did this the boogeyman.
Yeah.
What did you mean by that?
It's literally like what nightmares are made of. Like when you're a little kid and you think of the boogeyman, that's just how I feel. Like that's just the horrific details of everything. Them just having a good time, going home and going to bed, and that's happening to them.
Your best friend crawling into bed.
Just crawling in bed.
Every
and
girl
the
in
boogeyman
America
comes.
knows what that's
The
like.
boogeyman doesn't, meet you at McDonald's. I mean, the boogeyman comes and snatches you out of your bedroom.
Steve, we've been talking. I've been talking to folks in the community. You said something that stuck with me. You said, until this person is caught, you can't sleep in your bed.
No. I can't just lay in my bed and do nothing. That's not the way I raised my family. That's not the way I raised my girls and my son. You don't be a victim. You stand up for yourself and you do everything in your power to make sure people hear you. And they're gonna hear Kaylee. They're gonna hear Maddie. They're gonna hear these.
The other 2 as well.
Yes.
All of them.
I'm careful saying anything about them because I need to be careful because I can't speak on somebody else's child. But these 2 girls, I'm not trying to be a glory hound, but these 2 girls, I'm going to do what I can do. And we're not being victims. We're going to fight. We're going to figure out how to make sure that we hold everybody, accountable, and we keep eyes and attention on this and get this thing resolved.
Steve, you have made it very clear to our audience that you are supportive of law enforcement. You support the investigation. But recently, I've been watching and talking with you, and you're getting frustrated. What does that frustration come from, sir?
They put certain people between you and the officers that are making things happen. And those people are like lawyers and they don't want to say anything. And they don't have the guts to come up and be alpha and be like leaders and say, hey, we might say something that's wrong. We're going to take that hit. So the officers, they look me straight in their eyes. The lead detective looked me in his eyes. I have no doubt he's working as hard as he can. But somebody isn't communicating. There's nothing being released. It seems like they're trying to suppress the story. We want to put rewards out there. Like, don't do that. Yeah, I get it. Your town doesn't want to have reward posters posted all over when you come and you do your rush. You're not going to get a lot of students if they see those things. But this community is not going to heal until this guy's pulled off the streets.
Okay, so let's talk about this. Why was Steve Gonzalez truly told not to put up, reward money? Because would you get the they can say, hey, that's all we're gonna get all the riffraff fucking stupid people, just trying to get in for the money, right? Or would maybe like a Molly be like, okay, I'll take that money and I'll really tell you what happened. I'll really tell you what I was doing, why I was there for an extra 15 minutes. Or that I was there for actually 2 hours and because I got dropped off and then my boyfriend was actually doing the door dashing. You can spin stuff however the fuck you want. Anybody can if you're good at it.
It ain't gonna happen. Think it through. It's not gonna happen. He has to be off the streets. We all are working for the same thing.
When was the last time y'all heard from the police?
Thursday,
we looked at our phone records. We want to be accurate. We don't want to sell anyone out.
About 3:00 on Thursday.
And did y'all get an update from the police?
They're standing outside the police department, you guys. Listen, they were standing outside the police department saying this. And the police department, you guys, that's what the background is. And the police department's inside watching this.
Police about the investigation?
There was nothing. We have no updates for you.
There was no update. They needed me to sign a waiver form so that they could investigate something.
Some mail.
That was mail related. So We're working with them. We're not selling them out. We love our law support.
The FBI, everybody that's here, we just have no information as family, and it gets tough day after day after day. I mean, every day you just wake up and think today's the day. We're going to hear something, and you see these, there's a break in the case, and it'll just be something stupid.
The sixth person on the lease that was never there. Stop playing.
Yeah, the sixth person on the lease that was never there.
Games. This is serious. These are people's lives, and this is the future of this community. There's going to be 10,000, 15,000 kids that come into this community next year, or they don't. So I'm serious.
I had the opportunity to speak to some of my sources, and I've been told that there were differences in the way that the victims were killed. Some were more severe.
Okay, now who would those sources be?
Than the other. And this week we heard the target attack walk back and then reverse it back to it being a target attack. What can you tell us about the targeted attack?
They have told us that it was targeted, but they told us they can't tell who. We asked specifically, and they said, we'll try to get that information to you. And they got back to us a day or so later, and they said, we're sorry, we can't give you that information. But then a day later, we saw in the news that it was not targeted, or they think the whole house was targeted. But
I'll cut to the chase.
Yeah.
Their means of death don't match.
Maddie's and Kaylee's cause of death, it does not match based on the autopsy report.
They don't match.
Yeah.
Would indicate that one of them.
He doesn't have to go up the steps. Let's stop playing games, guys. I need somebody to step up and be an outfit.
There it
be
is.
Somebody to be a leader. Don't make me do it. I don't want to do it.
Why'd you go upstairs?
He doesn't have to go up the steps. Their points of damage don't match. I'm just gonna say it. Wasn't leaked to me. I earned that. I paid for that funeral. I paid for that. It's my right. You ain't taking that from me.
calm down.
If you don't want to say nothing, that's your bet. But don't say I'm leaking anything. I paid that bill. Sent my daughter to college to get an education. She came back in the box, and I can speak on that.
I was also told
I'd be
from
speaking on it.
sources that are closer to an investigation, because there was a lot of roommates in there. And this was horrific for those roommates that were there as well.
Absolutely. Yeah, absolutely.
The preservation of this crime scene. Witnesses tell me that it may have well been preserved because the phone was passed around between one of the fraternity members and the girls. One of them unfortunately witnessed the death, the body there. Can you confirm that?
What?
We cannot actually. We know nothing about that whole phone call. We've asked, and it's, I mean, I know that a lot of people want to know, but that's just not our agenda. We just are like, somebody called 911, somebody was reported unconscious. We don't really know. I mean, we've heard so many different things, and nothing has been clarified or been told to us at all. And I mean, I don't know if I personally have asked anything about that. I don't know if you've asked that, but
Well, according to Dylan, she does not know who the Gonsalveses are. She still doesn't know who they are, and that was on 12/30 of 2022. I cannot even believe that she said that in an interview on 12/30, 2022. Yeah, I don't know anything about Kaylee's family. I still don't even know what their names are. What? That is absolutely mind-blowing. Like,
we know that this is getting 3 weeks in, and it's starting to get, we don't want it to go cold. We're reaching out. I've reached out to friends down in California today that have connections that we're hoping to raise some money to get a reward, to get a private investigator.
Third party.
Why go the private route? Do y'all worry that at the end of this week that this case may be
100%.
cold?
We're scared.
When you tell me you don't want a photo up there with the reward offering information, that kind of sounds like you're trying to like suppress the story. I mean, why do you not need help? But hey, I could be wrong. And you officers, I apologize if I'm wrong.
Yeah.
I want to,
Absolutely.
please forgive me. But if you don't have the information, people do know. If they don't, then
Give us
the
something.
community, this is a community that is IT based. These guys live a digital footprint like we've never. All of us older people, we don't know how much that digital footprint could be helpful. So that's what we asked for.
He was right.
I hope like a DNA, family lineage, if they could come out here and just start taking, this town is not that big. We could figure out this, and it might not be him. It might be a family member. We have family all going to the school together. There's cousins, there's aunts, there's uncles. We could find this guy just with volunteers.
Lineage companies were,
Put Idaho on the map.
Christy, Steve, we're going to stay on this case.
Thank you.
We're not going anywhere.
Thank you.
You guys have been candid with us. We'll keep asking questions. Any resource.
We'll keep on doing our press conferences right in front of the Moscow Police Department. You guys see right there? That's that lobby area.
We have available. Our audience is praying for you guys.
Thank you.
Thank y'all. It was big for you guys to come back to Moscow tonight. I know it took a lot of courage to do it, and I'm hoping we can get some answers for you. Thanks so much for joining me tonight.
Yeah, pretty much, right?
Good evening, America, and welcome to this special.
Where was the other one? Oh, wait, here.
Answers as agonizing weeks stretch on. News Nation's Brian Enton joining us live now from Moscow. And Brian, some of these family members are frustrated. Are we any closer to a suspect than we were 3 weeks ago?
Unfortunately, not that we know of, Natasha. The latest we have heard from police is that there is still no known suspect and not even any persons of interest. The prosecutor told me this week they don't have any video of a suspect on camera, and they're still soliciting tips from the public now 3 weeks after the murders in the house behind me. You can see this is still a crime scene tape. The police department here has hired private security to keep an eye on the house at all times as the victims' families grow frustrated. I spoke with Kaylee Gonsalves's family, her mom and dad and sister, who say they're just growing impatient and they want more information from the police. Is anyone acting differently since the murders? I mean, is there anyone that you have a weird feeling about that the girls knew or that comes to mind?
Yeah, I would say not in the immediate circle by any means, but a few of the names that have been circulating around, I think it's hard not to kind of, dig into this. And I don't know how much of that is just because we have so little information from law enforcement and how much of it really is, a sister or a father's intuition.
Can you elaborate at all? I don't know. You don't have to give a name, but I mean, is it someone that she knew or?
I have something to say about that. I just feel like there's been a couple individuals that were cleared very fast. That may not, maybe he shouldn't have been. And
Share the strong alibi.
Just really fast.
If you can dismiss
an hour later, and we're like, what? And I don't know.
If you can dismiss
an hour cleared very fast. That may not, maybe he shouldn't have been. And
share the strong alibi.
Just really fast.
If you can dismiss share the strong alibi.
Just really fast.
If you can dismiss
an hour later, and we're like, what? And I don't know. I don't know anything about those individuals. I just know they were people that, definitely should have been looked at. And
I don't know what would prevent you from sharing somebody's alibi.
Yeah, I think that's what we're struggling with. So it's like, we know what we know. We've, fought for Jack, Kaylee's boyfriend, and, we still stand that way. So I did just kind of want to clear that up while we're talking through this ambiguity that, that's not what we're honing in on here.
We don't want to make more victims out of innocent people.
Exactly.
We definitely don't want to do that.
And so what the family is talking about is there's been a number of people involved who police have said have been cleared at this point. The family is saying they want to know what the specific alibis are. They want to know the evidence and proof of why police cleared those people. Also, Xana Kernodle, that's another one of the victims. For the first time, her mom spoke out last night to Ashley Banfield. Something very interesting. She revealed that Xana's father was actually at this house within a week of the murders. Listen to what she said.
Her father mentioned to me that he had just went and replaced the lock the weekend before.
You said her father mentioned to you that they had replaced the lock?
Yes, that he had fixed it or something. But yeah, he said that he had fixed it the week before, just to make sure.
The week before.
It's interesting because the way this house is set up behind me, there's a coded lock on the front door, and then we're told the bedrooms, at least most of them, have individual coded locks into the bedrooms. So the fact—
Who the fuck told you all that? That is ridiculous.
that her father changed the lock is interesting. We're trying to figure out how the killer got into these rooms. Were the doors open or were they closed? All of that still under investigation. Natasha?
All right, Brian Enton live for us in Moscow, Idaho.
Let's talk about the lights being on. Let's talk about the fucking lights. Every light was on in that house. Killers usually don't come into houses that are like all lit up and then leave them on. The only rooms I believe that the lights were off is upstairs. I think every fucking light was literally on the second floor and on the first floor. It's crazy. You know, but no wonder there were so many different stories. I mean, Bethany and Dylan were, God knows, I mean, a fireman. I saw a fireman. Can you imagine being told that? What? Can you imagine being told that somebody saw a masked man in the house at, 4:00 in the morning after Kaylee was screaming? There's someone in the house, and then the person just sees it and just goes to bed. I mean, what are these? When you read these interviews that Idaho State Police conducted and some Moscow Police Department people conducted, and they're interviewing people and they're saying things like, I went to the hotel the next day, or I talked to so-and-so on the phone, meaning Bethany or Dylan, and they told me X, Y, and Z. And it's like, these are people that were 23, 24, 25 years old. I cannot imagine being told that at 23, 24, 25 years old, their story, and me not like calling them up after the fact, after I thought about it, even just for a little bit, or saying something when they actually said that to me. I'm not just going to say, oh my gosh, no way, wow. I'm going to say, what are you talking about? And I would probably call people out, but again, that's just me. Especially if I found out that someone said, hey, I was with that person and they were not drunk at all. Or they were drinking earlier, then they stopped drinking. They had a couple, I can only imagine what these people are thinking right now. If they're in fact, even watching any of this stuff unfold. Because you can bet your bottom dollar that over the next couple of years, and as this goes on, people are gonna start talking what they think about stuff. Who was the one with the strong alibi again? Again, who was the one that was clear within an hour? Who was the one that was clear within an hour? That's a girl. I don't know. Part of me, I swear, I don't know. I can go back and look and see who was interviewed at that point from Moscow Police Department. Was it Molly? Was it Molly? Was it Molly? they're clearing this DoorDash driver and they're over here like, what the fuck? What do you mean you're clearing this DoorDash? Like, what do you mean she has an alibi? This whole like hour later type thing. Like, that's what I'm thinking. Like a girl, like an hour. No, it's not Molly. I fuck. Probably the Gonzalez didn't even know about Molly. Nobody knew that there was a DoorDash. Right. I don't know. Part of me thinks that it has something to do with why Emily's family called up and was like, "Can you do anything about this?"
Thank you. Thank you for watching. Go to
Have a name, but I mean, is it someone that she knew or?
I have something to say about that. I just feel like there's been a couple individuals that were cleared very fast.
That would be. But see, at this time, they weren't cleared yet, but they were cleared publicly, I guess. Jack Showalter, okay, and Cole, the guy that was acting creepy at the bar, okay, and Jack Showalter. That's who I think she's talking about right now.
That may not. Maybe he shouldn't have been. And yeah.
She had the strong alibi.
Just really fast.
If you can dismiss
an hour later, and we're like, what? And I don't know. I don't know anything about those individuals. I just know what. And I don't know. I don't know anything about those individuals. I just know they were people that, definitely should have been looked at. And yeah.
I don't know what would prevent you from sharing somebody's alibi.
Yeah, I think that's what we're struggling with. So it's like, we know what we know. We've, fought for Jack, Kaylee's boyfriend, and, we still stand that way. So I did just kind of want to clear that up while we're talking through this ambiguity that, that's not what we're honing in on here.
We don't want to make more victims out of innocent.
I mean, the other thing it could be either Dylan or Bethany because the strong alibi is the other person, So, and they're not going to give that up because they're not telling anybody that Dylan actually saw what she saw, So that could be the alibi. Like, Dylan has a strong alibi. These two, I again, I'm just speculating. Because if I was them, I'd be wondering why these two, everything's fine. And then what do you mean you're just clearing the roommates? Like, they were there. I don't know. God. Go and look at the reports and see what reports were written up and in. Because you can only leak stuff if it would be technically in a report or if it was verbalized in some capacity. And so if you think about it, this interview was done right at the end of November, I believe. Let me double check. I think that's when this interview was.
Dozens of tips and crime scene pictures. Still no suspect in the murder of 4 Idaho college students stabbed in their sleep. Families mourning their loved ones while looking to the police for answers as agonizing weeks stretch on. News Nation's Brian Enton joining us live now from Moscow. And Brian, some of these family members are frustrated. Are we any closer to a suspect than we were?
Just so heartbreaking what these families are.
You just cry.
I think I want to know it all. And
You're okay. Names that have been circulating around, I think it's hard not to kind of, dig into this. And I don't know how much.
More scared if it wasn't targeted.
Yeah.
Because it makes sense if there was some bad behavior that they did. Let's say, I don't know, they came from a strip club or something, and then somebody followed them home. That's a targeted thing. That's what comes. I've had innocent people that were interviewed that were their neighbors, and they said, I'd be a lot more scared if it wasn't targeted.
Yeah.
Because I'm not doing anything to target me. And I'm like, well, if targeting's just going to bed with your friends.
So maybe that was just a way to calm people down.
Okay, guess who that was? That was Peyton Rossi. Because that's exactly what he said. He's like, I'm scared. Like, what do you mean this? was targeted. If they're targeted, like, how aren't I a target then?
Down.
I feel like it was strategic.
Yeah.
It was a strategic way to keep people from hitting the door, transferring out, and turning that place into a ghost town.
You never think you're going to lose your little sister.
Yeah.
Ever. You never think you're going to have to bury your daughter.
Absolutely unbelievable. It's nothing compared to the pain that I feel.
Yeah.
This is horrible. I can't watch this. This is so sad. Steve's right. It was strategic, and I think that was going to be the trial strategy, was to say that. So, if you truly didn't know who the suspect was until the 19th, then you lied to the community, right? And you had everybody, you tried to have everybody stay there or come back, and here you have somebody that's a killer, a serial killer in the making. Like, you're picking money over safety. You're lying to the community. So how do we know that you're not lying right now? You're doing whatever it takes for your jobs, for your, I just think that that's horrible. It's just gross. It's so sad. All right, guys. Until next time. Thank you for joining us. Go get some rest. Let me know what you think in the comment section. Thank you, moderators, for being here, holding it down. Thank you for everybody that's turning green, turning each other green. Mama J says, I'm back. Anne asked for lab tests in February and still no results by the time of the plea. Wouldn't Bill still have turned over some results? I'm looking into what results she didn't have. I think that she did have them. I'm curious of when she had them, as far as like to argue when there was motions to suppress Frank's, but you can also motion like and file another one. So I don't know with what's coming in. I give Ann Taylor a C right now. And I give the person that wrote up the exhibit list a D, but yeah. This little slow trickle. But join me back tomorrow, because I'm going to show you guys there's more to it, and we're going to review over the expert witness list exhibits, because I really want to talk about the July 9th pool party and the July 12th mountain hike that was going to be an exhibit of Slavinsky's time on the stand. He also was going to be focusing on the geofence report. So, yeah. So join me back tomorrow. We're going to talk about how I think he was going to show that no matter where you were in Moscow, you were going to be hitting on the same and only 2 cell towers that provide service there, no matter where you were at in the area. All right, see you on the flip side.